All right. All right. Welcome back, everybody. In this update, we are going to be taking a look at the latest update with the pattern. And also, I do have a very big announcement for everybody that's going to be joining in this live stream. We're going to just wait a little bit, let some people come in. I haven't streamed in a few days, almost in the last 5 days. So we're just going to give it a little bit and, let this slowly. I've been wanting to stream. I've just been very busy, very tired. But I am ready to stream a little bit. I'm just getting some stuff ready too. All right. Welcome back. How is everybody's night going, by the way? How is everybody's night? How's everybody's night? All right. We do have some new announcements. If you guys are new to the channel, I just want to say let's congrats everybody for us getting past 1,000 subscribers. First off, we absolutely crushed that goal. We actually hit 1,200 subscribers in hurricane season. I'm looking to at least get to 1,500, almost halfway to 2,000 subscribers before the end of winter. I know winter is not a big thing, but hopefully as we continue this, things will get better and better. I'm just getting everything set up. So everybody just give me a second. I'm just waiting it out. All right. If you guys are also new to the channel, please like, please subscribe. That's going to be very greatly announced here. So I do want to talk a little bit and get this kind of started here. We're going to be just giving this a little bit. Let me just go in here. Also, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to answer. We do have an announcement for this one. If you guys are new to the channel, I did start a membership. If you guys actually look into the channel, I actually did start a membership on this channel. So if you guys actually want to support me, it's actually, I have 3 levels and it's certain things. So you guys can get shout outs, memberships, kind of get to talk to me on social media apps. Kind of, even I was thinking maybe as one of the perks or, one of the levels, we can actually make our own maps together. Like I do my winter outlooks, maybe if you guys want to join the thing, I was thinking maybe you guys, some of you guys that are really into the weather, we can actually chat and actually make our own winter maps and kind of have our own discussion, and even be joining the channel, as I would like to add more people and make the community bigger and help you guys learn. I'm also thinking about that, but I do have a membership. I am actually going to be posting it into the link today. We have 0 people right now. It would be nice to at least get to one of you guys. I do have it set up as king or queen because we have Weather Kingdom. And, you know, in a kingdom, it's queens and kings and princes and princesses. So I kind of set it up in that way, but in the weather world. I kind of got the idea. I'm also planning on maybe making my first merch out of Weather Kingdom theme. That's still in the process of the works. That's going to take a little bit. But I'm hoping once I can get some of this all set up and going, we can kind of really start to evolve this channel into bigger things. So let me just quickly get this. Just give me 1 second. Alright, so we're going to kind of just start talking about it here in this pattern. So, first off, if you guys are new to the channel, we are currently taking a look at the pattern for the winter months and everything. So, this is my latest thinking right now. So, we kind of have this big trough that's going to be coming into the western United States. You can easily see that massive trough. This is a very interesting trough. This is actually an upper level low that's kind of spinning in this direction. But we got some pretty cool cold air actually behind this. And this is actually going to help to cool down. And then you can kind of see this is our ridging here. We kind of actually have our ridging now all the way up into Canada. And then it quickly comes back down, back into the cooler stages. You kind of can see that in here. We still got this pattern like this. This is our pattern we're dealing with. So we still got some interesting stuff here. We got, once again, very big high pressure that's been pumping this this upper level low to the north and kind of keeping the moisture from entering the four corners for the next coming days. But it will eventually start to impact parts in the four corners and stuff. This kind of region in Canada with some very warm air. This actually goes into North Dakota, central United States. We even have a little bit of another high pressure here where we see the weaker trade winds. These are helping this to stay steadily quiet and warm. So this is why our pattern has been pretty much just normal. There hasn't been anything major. And then what we've been dealing with is some of this lake effect snow coming off the mountain, off the lakes here, and some of these brisky, cool days, especially in the Northeast. And as you get up into the New England areas where it's even more better chances for some snow showers. So this is kind of your pattern. Nothing in the Gulf, nothing to worry about in the Atlantic. The Atlantic hurricane season, you guys, I am officially calling the end. If any miracle, maybe we see a 10% somewhere. But I'm honestly, my faith in the Atlantic is kind of has died down quite a bit. Just give me a second. All right. So basically, let me just get everything set up here. I'm trying to get some more people into the weather. I'm getting some more people. I am planning on doing some streams with some other people in the future that's into this stuff. We have been talking about it, and I think this will be a very good thing here on this channel. So how's everybody's nights going? We haven't got anything major in the chats today. Alright, so let me go talking here. Let's actually go into, I don't know. Let's go to actually 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks WPC. Alright, so we're actually going to look at the Climate Prediction Center 3 to 4 weeks out. As we got some interesting data here. This is from November 22nd to December 5th. So this is a little bit interesting. We have talked about this in previous videos and streams. We are expecting warmer temperatures. Okay, this is some warmer and dry. I actually wouldn't say dry. I'll just say warmer. Warmer temps. Okay. I think these are going to be some warmer temps right into the south. If you guys are in the deep south, especially there too. That doesn't mean you guys are just going to get completely already a bad start to winter. It's not going to be like that. But it is, I do think it will eventually kick up a bit more, I believe. We also, when we take a look at the 3 to 4 days, we do have, once again, we are expecting some very cool air. Actually, let's go back in the black. We're going to go into the black here. This color. Just give me 1 second. Once again, if you guys are new to the channel, please like, please subscribe. If you guys want to donate, that will really help this video out. Hopefully, spread it out to more people that's engaged with the weather. I was also thinking maybe we should talk a little bit more about the winter. This is actually kind of the third discussion, and I do think we're going to be talking about many more. And also, maybe even some severe weather streams, as I'm going to be talking a little bit more into the severe weather. Thank you. We have hit 5 likes, so it's really good. Our goal is to 10 likes on this stream. Let's just keep it going. Let's keep it rocking, everybody. We're kind of waking back up the weather community here on this channel. I'm trying to. I know it's going to take a little bit. I kind of had to take a little break after Melissa. Hurricane Melissa really killed me, you guys. I'm not going to lie. It took a lot out of me. But we are expecting some pretty cold air here. And I do think if you guys are in the northern parts of the United States, I think the chances of that cooler air is very possible. And the NOAA Prediction Center does agree. This is about anywhere from leaning below, about slightly below in these areas in the lighter blues. And then in the darker blues is just straight out below. It's in the middle. It's below temperatures. It's not crazy below, but it's below temperatures. I do think this is definitely going to be updating. Last time this was updated on the 7th. So this was last updated about 5 days ago. I think they update this like every week. This is also the precipitation. We have drier air in here, the southeast, but more to the coast. Okay. I do think, hey, Melody, nice to see you. Nice to see you. We do have actually above... this is very interesting. They do have above precipitation here in the Great Lakes. I wonder with that cooler air, if that's going to be more lake effect snow. We're going to actually talk about that in a bit. We also are talking about the CFS. I like to take a look into the CFS This is a long-range model that I was wanting to use, you guys, okay? So let's go into today. Let's go into the modeling forecast. Let's go into here. So let's just go into the next 144 hours, all right? This is about 6 days out. 6 or 7, like 6 days out, okay? And this is your pattern that is kind of here. So you got a low pressure kind of coming in here with this. You got a little bit of troughing and a little bit of interesting pattern jet stream here. You got a little bit more of something going. I do think the pattern's in a change to come. We've been in a pretty cool pattern. If you guys are across the Northeast, it's been pretty cool, pretty chilly. Nothing too much going on. But I do think in the future, I don't know how true this is, the CFS does bring it low into the inland parts of the United States here and kind of does that as you got, you know, a much cooler pattern out in the central and western, and then the pattern like this. This would be very interesting with the storm tracks and everything. I'm very curious on that. I do think it's going to be very interesting. I haven't looked at the latest, but this does eventually continue to get colder. And this is a little bit interesting. This is about 288 hours out. This is further out into closer to the end of November. And we kind of see pretty much what the model's showing. The northern United States staying generally more colder, more snowier. And when we take a look at this line and then take a look at the 3 to 4 days here on the temperature outlook, it kind of shows, all right? It's very interesting that it shows like that with the modeling, okay? And the model's been showing this in the longer range, and then you can kind of see we get some more low pressures. It's very interesting. Look at this very cold air that's really going to be coming down. I mean, this is just a straight out Bermuda high just unleashing into the United States here across pretty much the entire United States, you guys. This is very interesting. Even some snow in the background. Look, this is past 10 days out, you guys. This is now looking at the 29th on my birthday, actually. So, you can see some back-end snow. And then look at this, you guys. We get some interesting pattern stuff here. I mean, going into the end of December, the end of November to December, I mean, this is some very interesting data. This is something that's very interesting, and the model really does like the pattern to be cold snow. I mean, look at this into December. I mean, this is December. This is December 7th. Look at the beginning of December and look at the entire month of December. Pretty chilly, and even some signs of snowstorms and stuff. Pretty interesting stuff there. And then we get that, I mean, this pattern to continue. I mean, look at that. And then we finally, maybe towards the end, on like the mid part of December, like the 12th. I mean, we're talking about another snow shot. So, in the long-range models, they do support a very snowy and cold pattern. How true and how likely that will become is uncertain at this given point. But I do think it is a little bit interesting that the models are showing that. When we take a look at the 12Z GFS and then we take a look at the 18Z, the 12Z kind of has everything bottled up for the next coming days, and then maybe even a low pressure into the 18th. Some of the models are trying to pick out a little bit of a clipper system and a little bit of a snow event. That's going to be very interesting. I'll like to see if that ends up being a little bit more north and on how much precipitation is there. And then the pattern gets a little bit interesting as now we're talking a little bit about severe weather. And this scenario on the GFS on 12Z has a lot more of supercells, thunderstorms in the south. This will be the beginning of the severe weather part of the season now. And for it being quiet, I'm surprised we haven't had any big tornado outbreaks. But I think That's about to be changing as we be looking at some of these low pressures. GFS has a low cutting into here. I mean, look, you got a snow shot really trying to develop a classic blizzard across the Bismarck areas and Dakotas. Never really gets it going, but that cold air tries and sneaks its way in. And then towards the November 27th, look at that. Cold air. So GFS 12Z agrees. And then you get a little bit of a nor'easter on the 29th with some colder air. I don't know how true this is. Because on the 18Z, it has the same idea. So the models are agreeing on this same idea now, at least the GFS, that by the end of its run, closer to December, it's a lot colder air. So right now what it's looking like is we're going to be having a much colder shot of air as we enter these next month. Looks like more colder air, snowier, and more chances for some stuff. So that's a little bit interesting on the GFS. We can actually go back to 6Z. 6Z had a little bit more different. 6Z had more of a ridging event going on, but this was 6Z. This was some weird data. But look at this. The 0Z had it like this. This big cold, and you could tell it was about to get very cold and very snowy. I mean, look at this. You got the trough just coming in. This was a massive trough on the 0Z last night. It is very interesting that the data is picking it up. I do believe. I just don't think we know what's going to happen just yet. All right. It is interesting. And then when we take a look at the European, this is the European 18Z. Kind of keeps it pretty cold. Even some more snow showers in the next coming few days. And then it starts, we get that little clipper system. Maybe with this run, it has a little bit more north. Maybe some brief snow. It really does try to spin out some snow. But then look at that. We start to talk about some more thunderstorms to develop. And maybe I believe as a severe weather event because the European goes off with the severe weather event. This will be for Texas, the Louisiana area, Mississippi, Tennessee. This will be probably even up to the Ohio Valley of some severe thunderstorms. This is starting to show, and I'm getting a little bit concerned because we will definitely be going live as much as possible. And then we can kind of see, another little hint, some freezing rain to start out, this low pressure, and then it ends with some rain. And a good soaking rain in my opinion. And then we kind of see that goes out like this. And the ridging kind of continues where you see that west coast. And then we try and see another severe weather event. So I think severe weather season is about to really start kicking up. How cold is it going to get, though, is my question. There's still some major uncertainty on if this is actually going to happen with December. Because this only goes out to November 28th. It is interesting, though. Let me just tell you this. It is interesting. Even though on the European, we got this massive ridging pump going like this, right? And then you got this massive, I don't think it's going to play out like this, because this is setting up for a monster snowstorm in these areas right here. But look at this cold, you guys. I mean, this is a trough of itself here. This is interesting what we are seeing. This has been showing up now on the longer range models. And when I mean cold, I mean cold business, you guys. This ain't no little bit. I mean, we're talking about on the European, if this case scenario happens in December, we are looking into some very massive problems. Probably one of the biggest, coldest Arctic outbreaks in a very long time. If this scenario's happen, I mean, we're talking about the entire West Coast in the 20s and a monster area in the negative 27 right here, you guys. And that's just in the purple. That's not even into the pinks. That will be about almost negative 50 with wind chills lower. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen because if the GFS happens, I mean, look at the GFS also, too. Very cold area. You're talking about general area in the teens and single digits at this given point. And this is some very cold air that's bottled up to the north. When we actually take a look at North America at this, I mean, this is some true cold, you guys. I mean, play this out here. We got this Arctic blast. That kind of moves like this. Air gets, look at all this cold air right here. But I want you guys to take a look towards the end of the forecast here. Look how this just starts moving to the south here. Especially towards the end of November. This up here, look at that. This starts circulating into here. Look how it's getting colder, right? Look at that. Boom! We're starting to really see it. And this starts really getting forced down here. And then boom. Towards the end, you're talking about a monster amount of cold really impacting parts of the USA. I mean, this is some interesting data here on the 18Z. I mean, you could just see that air just getting completely funneled into the United States. Very interesting data there that we are picking up. Also, you guys, we are at 7 likes. We are getting closer and closer to our goal. The goal is to 10. If you guys are new to the channel, please like, please subscribe. Please feel free to chat. That would be very greatly appreciated. Let's at least get 1 super chat. Anything. This is some very interesting data. And you can see it on the 12Z here. Of this cold air. And you really see how a lot of this Canadian air from up here. Hey, thank you, Pack Gaming and 5Z. Oh my god, dude, that is so cold. And by the way, we saw 1 inch of snow from here of the lake effect. It even snowed last Sunday afternoon. That's really good. Thank you. Yeah. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but there is signs of, I would say, there's been a lot of hype on it. And I don't want to talk about it, really, because I'm not buying it fully yet. I'm not buying it just yet. We've seen this many times. But let's just say, if this happens, we are really going to be in of some very cold air. Okay? Very, very, very cold air. Look at this. Oh, wow. Look at that. Also, we are 3 likes away from 10. So let's do it, you guys. That'll be awesome goal tonight. I am very interested of making a video for tomorrow. I'm very interested on the data. It is some interesting data that I'm picking up because we can see it on CFS too. Just a little bit of interesting data right there. I'm not going to lie with you. And it's been showing on the ensembles too. Especially towards the end. Some very, very cold air. Right? I think that's very possible at this given point. Very, very cold air. Does anyone have any questions or concerns currently about this? Any questions or concerns? I don't want to stay on too long because maybe I'll think about... It is interesting about that Siberian cold. I've been really looking into that. So, a stratosphere warming event. We're going to talk about it, alright? So, stratosphere field warming event. Weather science. I know it's spelled wrong, but we're going to talk a little bit about it. Okay? So this was back in... Okay. I just want to make sure the news ain't... So this is a little bit interesting. This was about a month ago. And this has been really coming up here about a stratosphere warming event. Thank you, man. Thank you. Very greatly appreciate it. So, this was a bit ago. This was some news breaking that experts sound the alarm of an Antarctica air temperature record broken by 60 degrees. This is a little bit interesting stuff here. This was, we're talking about maybe, this is not exactly what I wanted. Okay, let's just go into images because this, I want to explain a little bit about this stratosphere warming event. So basically what a stratosphere warming event looks like is like this, you guys. It's pretty much like this. Let's just go into here. Let's go out of here. Let's do this. So a stratosphere warming event looks like pretty much like this. You got, I think it's going to be more warm, but this is actually warm air in the troposphere, okay? So the troposphere is actually what's above the weather, okay? And there's been signs on the models. I'm not going to show it because I'm not confident in this, all right? But it's been showing for the last couple months of a massive stratosphere warming event. If this happens, this will be a very good sign for snow lovers. But this will be a very harsh winter if this happens. Stratosphere warming event is when your colder air up in the North Poles, your North Poles actually split. And instead of having the North Poles getting that cold, it actually comes all the way down into Canada and even sometimes into the North America. Kind of like a mini, I don't want to say mini ice age, but kind of like a winter mini ice age. This has not happened in a while. And I'm not buying it yet because I don't trust into it. It's a very good stratospheric warming event. Okay. And basically, a lot of your colder air up in here, let me just draw this out in blue, actually comes down here. And all that blue air, look what happens. It actually comes all the way down in the United States. And the models are, you can actually kind of see it on the models, okay? Especially on the latest GFS. The GFS, believe it or not, and the European. When we take a look at North America and take a look at this, you see these blue lines. Let's just take a look into the vortex now. Anomalies. Yeah, look at this. This is a very good one. So I want you guys to take a look at where we are now, right? Look at this. We don't got any cold air. This is all the cold air we have. Our cold air is actually popped up in here. This is actually some pretty warm air all through here. And we're going to have to get through that to get through the cold. Okay? What starts to happen is we get another shot of cold air in the next coming days or two. This will likely keep the temperatures 5 to 10 degrees below average. Likely. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. It seems like more people are coming in to engage with the weather. That's really good. We're kind of just talking. If you guys are new to the channel, please like, please subscribe, and that'll be very greatly appreciated. Let's try and get up to 13K. 1,300 subscribers. That'll be awesome. And then let's go a little bit more. So what happens here, look at this. We start to get some colder air, but boom. Look at that. We start to develop, look how this starts to happen. We get these colder air kind of starts blowing up in here, these colder temperatures. And what we're happening is we're getting that warmer air getting surged to the north. So what's going to happen in this scenario is we're going to get a blocking. Okay, it's going to kind of split the poles. And in this scenario, what happens on the GFS, we see develop a very cold Arctic outbreak. And look at this. We got very, very warm air that gets shot up into the poles into Canada. And that actually splits the poles. You see how this is? Look, we got another very cold air coming down in here. And then we got warmer air up in here. So now we got a warming air right here. And then we have this kind of split. So when we take a look at this, this is one set of the poles right in here. That's very cold. But this splits off. Instead of being all bottled up there, it actually comes down to the United States. And this will be our second Arctic outbreak of the season. This will likely be for the end of November into December. And maybe even further. Look at that. This gets some very cold air. This is textbook Arctic outbreak. We have blocking up in here that's going to keep everything in check. And you got one side of the poles up here. This is our cold air up in here. And this is the second part of the pole. It completely gets driven down into Canada, the Great Lakes, the Northeast, the North America. And this is a very interesting. We don't see this into like January and February. So it is an interesting pattern. I'm not fully buying it, but look at that. Especially towards the end. This pattern kind of just continues. And this even gets deeper. I mean, we're talking about almost 20 degrees below average. At least 10 degrees below average across much of the central and western United States. This is pretty much the poles right here. Just straight out coming down. Okay? It's some interesting data. I'm not buying it, though. I'm not buying that Thanksgiving snowstorm, to be honest with you. I don't think that's going to actually happen. It's too far. Okay? This is a little bit too far. But I would definitely like to keep you guys updated because it's not just the GFS, it's the European here. When we take a look at the 12Z in the long run, even though it's not the same, it's also shown because it's a little bit delayed because this is November 28th. GFS goes out until like December 1st. But what's happening here, we're getting our warm air getting bulged up to the north. And this is actually going to rotate back in here. You see that? This is all going to rotate back here. And then what happens with this colder air? It starts getting funneled into the United States. okay? And what's going to basically happen here is you're going to have this warmer air bottled up like this. A massive amount of warm air. But where's your poles? You're going to have your one set of the cold air up in here in the poles, right? So we got the blocking pattern. That's really good. But then you got this very cold Arctic air. And when I mean Arctic, I mean we're talking about 0-degree temperatures at night. This would be just straight out textbook Arctic outbreak. Something we haven't had in quite a few years. I'm not saying it's going to happen, though, because this is some longer range. But it is interesting. I am actually very interesting. The mean of the temperatures. Look at the longer range. Look how steadily but surely we talk about that cold air. So this is where we are now. All right. Look how we're talking about this pattern's pretty conducive, right? But look at how we continue to go on forward. We get that first blast of cold air on the ensembles. All right. Nothing too bad. Just another little cold blast. That's really good. Keeping the Northeast quite cold and chilly. And then look at this. Some ridging. But look at towards the end. We're talking about some extreme cold. I mean, look at this. We're talking about, and these purples are about negative. These are about 20 degrees below average. 20 degrees below average to normal. This is the mean of the temperatures that should be. About here will be about average to slightly below across here. So this is what the NOAA is predicting. The ensembles are showing it quite good here. But look at some of these ensembles here on some of this cold air. Some true, like on ensemble 8, a lot of these ensembles showing some very cold, mean cold air. Okay. All right. I think it's just very interesting what we are seeing. And then the ensembles are showing it. Okay. And that's interesting. All the future data is showing it. Okay. Weather bell. Let me actually quickly look. I want to see if we can kind of get a. It's on weather bell, that stratosphere warming thing. Let me just quickly take a look here. Oh my. This is why I don't like doing this. I think it was the European extent. Yeah, long range. The European week. That's what I suck about it. I hate it. Look at this. Ew. I can't ever. Damn. Interesting. I will honestly have to look into that. Because there's really nothing much I can do. Only if I can. No, I can't do the worlds. It will be in North America. This is an alright one. No, it's not. Yeah, maybe. This is your control. That's a pretty good one. Look at your controls. I wonder how 2017 was. Let me just quickly look at that. 2017. Temps. I just want to take a look. Blah, 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 blah. Now, actually, I do want to look at something else also. It's obfuscation. I want to show you guys the winter snow amount. The cloud cover. Honestly, I don't know how to do it. Wait 1 second. Obviously, no. Snowfall. Okay. Let's go snowfall season analysis. Okay, this is some interesting data. Okay. We're gonna look at this and then end it. But this is actually from Lake Effect. Pretty good. Some pretty good Lake Effect snow, especially across Northern Jersey, even parts of the Poconos. Scranton area got like an inch of snow. That's pretty good.